Welcome to Top Women in Grocery. It's a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in our industry. We spotlight extraordinary women in our industry who have successful careers and interesting lives who make a positive impact in their communities and their workplaces. And I'm so pleased today to be welcoming Emily Turner, Chief Marketing Officer at the Fresh Market. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
So happy to have you here. Emily joined the Fresh Market about a year ago. Before that, she was VP of Enterprise Marketing and later CMO at Dollar Tree stores. She also spent 8 years at dunnhumby, ascending to a role as SVP of Customer Engagement and Media for the Americas. In addition, her background includes roles at Emmy UK and Mars Confectionery, which sounds all kinds of fun. So welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, it's great to be here. Great to be part of the podcast.
We're excited to have you. So the term marketing is part of your title, of course. It's a big word. It's an all-encompassing word. So in your role and to you personally and professionally, what does it mean? What does marketing mean to you?
Yeah, so I guess practically, within the Fresh Market, it is, quite a broad remit. So it's all of the traditional things that you'd expect to include, like content and creative, the loyalty program, the communication channels. But like a lot of, modern marketing roles in retail, is expanded to also include, the channels like app and email, retail media, and e-commerce. But kind of outside of, basic responsibilities, I see a lot about being a partner, particularly at the Fresh Market. So how I can collaborate with our merchandising team, with our operations team to make sure that we're really executing in lockstep, really, really joined up to make sure that we're providing that really impeccable guest experience that we strive for. I think that more and more it's becoming, not just about marketing in terms of, a sign in store. It's about being a leader. And that comes both from, responsibilities into, retail media and e-commerce where you've got P&Ls, you've got to drive, revenue collection, but really thinking about new opportunities to connect your brand with, new guests, to reach new people, to serve new needs, and really figuring out how to drive traffic to store. That's kind of one of the core things that I think, is chief marketing officers are now accountable for.
And you mentioned retail media. And so I think you guys have really become pretty well known for retail media and your innovations. So what new strategies or innovations are you pursuing right now to kind of bridge that gap between online and your amazing in-store experience?
Yeah, so retail media is a little bit different for the Fresh Market because, we don't have a lot of big name brands. We have a huge kind of private label assortment. So the things that we're looking at is more how do we drive more awareness and create, that kind of thrill of discovery with our guests. So one thing that we've been doing recently is we've been testing what we call a mini magazine. So we have a digital magazine that's called Taste of Fresh.
Yes, I know.
Liz, website. It's full of what's new in store. We have a Taste of the World program, so it's like what country are we focused on this month. We talk a lot about different occasions, different recipes, but we started to bring that back into a store. So we've been testing having that back in some of our stores, a printed version, because what we heard from our guests is they like that physical copy.
Yeah.
They like having that magazine in their hand as they go around the store because it inspires them whilst they're on the trip. So those are some of the things we're doing where we've lent so far from being printed over to digital, and we're now finding ourselves going back a little bit because, we were missing that connection for the guest in store. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We're also, thinking about how we can leverage social media. So on our social media, we're now much more focused on, again, helping showcase some of the new products that we have in store, because each time I go into our store, I still find new things that I hadn't seen last time I was in there. And so if that's true for me, that's going to be true for our guests. So the more that we can highlight those, the more that we can focus on those, is going to help, get our guests adding new items to their baskets. We're also looking at evolving our loyalty program and evolving our app as well. Those are things where guests are constantly, asking for more, expectations are rising, and we want to continue to meet them. So we want to have, an app that is much more focused on loyalty, but really helps amplify what is so important to the Fresh Market, which is really about taste, quality, discovery, and inspiration. So really how it can fuel that. And then, as you mentioned, bridge the gap between online and in store. Like most retailers, the majority of our transactions are still in store. So how can we have an app that helps a guest discover and buy and purchase all within the store?
Well, I love that point about having a print as publishers of print magazines. I love hearing that, but it's true. People like that physical. It's still that tangible physical thing in tandem with the digital. So that's something we love to hear too, for sure. And it's a lot of fun too. I would imagine your role in marketing has a huge element of fun to it. You know, if you're going to all the stores and seeing the discovery firsthand, it must be kind of a fun role too.
It is. It's really great. And we have creative meetings as a team where we talk about, what's going into the magazine, what is the content, how are we going to inspire our guests. And because, as I mentioned, the fresh market is so much around the guest experience is so central to everything that we do. Everything is around taste and qualities. How do we bring that to life? How do we get to bring that excitement to our guests? How do we make sure that we're talking about that across all of our many channels? So it's really, really good fun. And we just finished doing a great campaign in June with the Alzheimer's Association and Chef Carla Hall with her Sweet Heritage tarts, and that was a wonderful collaboration between, two companies and partners that we already worked with, but bringing us together to say, okay, well, how can we do something that's great together and help, further the cause of the Alzheimer's Association? So that was a really fun collaboration. And we were really proud to be able to donate over $21,000 to the Alzheimer's Association.
I love that. And that's so important for communities and the broader community as well. And, and you mentioned excitement. Boy, there's a lot of excitement around your new stores. We were talking a little bit before this about how I visited a couple of the new ones up in the northern suburbs of Chicago. And Fresh Market's been busy on that new store front. So what do you love about visiting new stores in particular? That's always a great vibe. What do you like about that, Emily?
It's definitely the passion and the enthusiasm of the team members in store. They are so excited to be part of the store. They're so excited to have the store open. So really seeing them and how they are living the brand is just wonderful. Seeing the store come to life is an articulation of who the Fresh Market is. So really making sure that it is showing, the taste, the discovery, and it always is. It's like they always just feel like this is the Fresh Market. But then also interaction with the local communities of both seeing the community, coming to our stores, talking to them, but the relationship that our team members have with the local community. So we are well known for our guest experience, and our team members, they know these guests on a personal level. They come in regularly and they talk to them, and so seeing that it's not just another transaction, it's not just a customer. I really, really enjoy that part.
It's fun. And I can always, the two things I always love listening to the string musicians that are in the front. You must hire local musicians for it. And then I go right to the barbecue samples. I've got my little route when I go too. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So when we open new stores, exactly that. We open it like it's, a kind of a more amplified version of the Fresh Market. So we have the classical music. We do a lot of tastings. We do, the kind of cracking of the Parmesan. More recently, we've been giving away free orchids. So at one of our openings recently, we've got the lovely orchid program that we're known for. So we were giving our first 100 guests a free orchid as a nice memento. So it's really fun. And, the local marketing team do such a wonderful job of celebrating the openings and welcoming the new guests to stores.
And each store is, like a snowflake in the sense that you have assortments that might be different. So how do you promote your programs, including the robust local supplier program, to inspire the guests to help them discover those new favorites while keeping your own signature shopping experience differentiated?
Yeah. So a lot of that is to do with, we already talked a little bit about the Taste of Fresh, our magazine. So that's a really great way where we can have a lot of content and you can give it more room to talk about. So storytelling is a big part of it. When we talk about our local program, that's a lot of what we want to do. We want to be able to have a consistent look and feel for local, but then really bring to life, the story behind those products and really make sure that we're representing both, whether that's from, honey from the local farms or local milk, but also brands that are, right now are starting local, but we think that they have great potential to go national. So really helping guests to discover those. And again, as marketing, it's really beyond storytelling. It's how do we make sure that we are, very consistent and cohesive in our planning of, exactly making sure that we're talking about it across different touch points, that it's appearing in our emails, that it's appearing in the website. So we are definitely making sure that it's in front of our guests. We're giving them multiple opportunities to discover and find new things that they're going to love and come back to again and again.
And the storytelling is just so compelling. It's as a shopper, and I'm sure that you probably love reading about these local suppliers too, how they really literally pour their heart and soul into things that they make, that you're able to amplify that for them and for customers.
Yeah, so it's so wonderful when we're able to find those brands, and there's so much passion behind it. It's
Mm-hmm.
so personal for them, and then it's personal for us, and it's just it's really fun. It's really fun to be able to bring new products to people, and then when we've got our team members talking about them, we get
Yeah.
guests are really excited about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just it's a very exciting kind of part of the role.
And also within each store, and probably in the corporate headquarters too, to kind of get that shared level of enthusiasm, engagement, mentoring is so important. So in this industry, there's a lot of mentoring because there's a lot of legacy people that have been in there for a long time, maybe started their career in the front end or behind a counter and have gone on to some great things. So Emily, who were some of your mentors?
Yes, I've been fortunate to have, a lot of different mentors, and a lot from my actually career in dunnhumby, because that
Mhm.
spanned 4 different continents. So
Oh,
through
wow.
all of the role changes, location changes,
Okay.
yeah. So I started in the London office. I moved with dunnhumby to Bangkok in
Mhm.
Thailand, later to Cape Town in South Africa before moving to Chicago. So that's given me a lot of exposure to different leaders in dunnhumby, and a lot of them that I'm still, now former dunnhumbians like myself, and
Mhm.
still in touch with. And so it's really nice to have a group of people where you've got shared experience, but they're still people that I can go to for advice, and
Mhm.
we're still in contact.
Yeah.
But for me, when I think about how I want to mentor, a lot of it's to do with with coaching
Yeah.
and more with feedback.
Mhm.
I really believe that feedback is so important, and helping to people to understand, when something is great, why was it great? Like, what
Mhm.
was so good about it?
Mhm. Mhm.
So that they can repeat that success again. Spending time giving quality feedback is something I really like to do. It does
Mhm.
take time and energy,
Yeah.
but I think so much, it's worth it because people really understand, what it is kind of key to the success and how they can continue to develop. Um, the other thing that I love to do is work with my team on something. So not wait
Mhm.
till the end, but
Mhm.
actually really help and partner with them as they are working through something. Because I think that again, that helps, with the guidance,
Mhm.
that helps make sure that we are evolving things along the right track. But I
Mhm.
also believe that marketing is a team sport. So for that part, it's really about, bouncing ideas off each other and pushing each other because
Mhm.
ultimately it's going to be better, at the end of that. So that's another really important part of how I like to mentor and coach people.
Mhm.
And then providing my teams with opportunities to get exposure.
Mhm.
How can I expose them to the senior leaders in the business? How can I give them opportunities to showcase their great work? I'll
Mhm.
always be there to support them, but when they've worked so hard on these different projects, it's really giving them the platform to show their work.
Well, you talk about feedback. So many times we're also busy in our jobs that it's so easy to go day by day, week by week, and we're just, head down a lot of times. But taking the time to notice what other people are doing and to give them feedback, in all sorts of ways, for better, for worse, right? For improvement and for, really, really great job done. But it's taking the time.
And I think that's where, when we have our creative meetings,
Mhm.
we're reviewing things, we're talking about work that's upcoming. And it's
Mhm.
a great opportunity because everyone in that forum is expected to speak up. You
Yeah.
have an opinion. We all want things to be, best for our guests because once your
Mhm.
marketing's out there, it's out
Mhm.
there. So
Mhm.
that's our job. Like we're the guardians of that. So I think it's also a great opportunity for other people and, more junior members of the team to learn that at the same time that
Mhm.
you should have an opinion and how to develop what that opinion is, how to articulate that opinion because feedback isn't necessarily just on performance. It's also
Right.
on, work and how we make the work better.
I love that. And marketing is one of those functions that it's pretty all encompassing. I think sometimes people don't realize how much is involved in marketing and how much you have to know and understand about all of the business. So I think in that sense, it's kind of a unique function, right?
It's really unique, and it's kind of the third leg of the stool, along with operations and merchandising, and it's involved so much from when it probably was much more around just putting signs in stores.
Hmm.
And as I mentioned at the top of our conversation, it's really about being a commercial leader now and a partner to everyone because
Hmm.
marketing is now expected to drive traffic.
Hmm.
That is a really core part is how do we reach new people, new audiences, and get them into store, get them to
Hmm.
choose the fresh market over everyone else. And so that's such a core part. And, we found ourselves with, in charge of revenue targets through retail media. We found ourselves with, e-commerce P&Ls. So it really has evolved. So, into much more kind of a complex role, but much more definitely of a partnership, less of a service, I think, where it used to traditionally be placed as a service to the other functions. It's now, got a kind of a great seat at the table.
And you probably get feedback. I'm sure it's rewarding for you to get feedback from other leaders in the organization as well as shoppers when you're at the stores, because everyone's really passionate about this particular banner and brand. And it's got to be, rewarding to hear that. And I bet you do, right?
Yeah. And I think that's, what's also really helpful is, like all of us, and you mentioned head down, marketing can also be head down because, you can be in your own little bubble sometimes of the brand, and sometimes having someone, an outside perspective, helps you realize other opportunities. How can we make sure that we really are leveraging and dialing up that message when we want to talk about taste, or we want to talk about freshness. And our guests are so passionate about the brand. They're very vocal, which is great because it was feedback from them that told us that they missed the magazine that we had. So that was partly when we decided that we wanted to bring it back, because they told us that they love it. And we asked, for feedback from our store team members as well, because, they are the front line. They are the ones engaging with our guests day in and day out. So their feedback is so important to us, because if it doesn't work for them, if it doesn't work for our guests, then we need to be doing something different.
For sure. Well, and you're heading into a busy time, that back half of the year, and the holidays are coming right before we know it. So I think you'll be busy, and then you have to start all over and plan for the next year too.
Right. And we love this time of year. Like the holidays is such a big part of the fresh markets, of year. We are well known for our holidays, our meals that we do at Thanksgiving and, at Christmas. So we already are starting to ramp up for the holidays. We're looking forward to another big holiday and helping our guests celebrate alongside with them.
I love that. And as seasons change and maybe throughout the year, we always love to ask this of our Twig guests, Emily. So what are some things that are in your cart? What do you love that you pick up or discover at your own store shelves?
Yeah, so from a seasonal perspective, there's things that I love. Like we have these jumbo blueberries, and they are so sweet and so delicious. So I love our jumbo blueberries. When the Sumo citrus is in season. You've got to try them. They are unbelievable.
Jump on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I personally am, a sucker for a functional beverage. So always have kombucha. Anything that has a claimed benefit on a drink, I'm probably going to try it. And we have a great range of the functional benefits that our team work hard to kind of bring in some different ones. So you'll find my cart full of those. And then I'm a snacker as well. So you'll often find snack bars, or we've got something called clean beans. So they're really great. So I've been trying those. But yeah, I always end up walking out with a lot more than I intended to when I go to the fresh market.
That's so fun. And I bet your cart's colorful. I would bet, because if you have all those juices and all of that produce,
all the beverages, all of the fresh, it's a rainbow.
Oh, that's funny. One of the things I love, you make this cookie. I don't know. My daughter discovered it when she was like 8 or 9, and we were at a store. You've got some kind of cookies with like a raspberry filling, like a little pouch in the middle. And those are always in my cart when I go to Fresh Market, and I bring them home, and everybody's so excited. So I love it.
I know. And that's one of the things that that is also so fun about working with the fresh market is everyone has their favorite product.
Yeah.
Everyone has things that they're like, this is always a staple in my household, and it's not just fruits and vegetables. It's things like exactly that, like bakery. We're well known for our bakery. So little items that just become, household favorites, and it becomes very personal. So it's lovely when we hear that.
Yeah. And you can't find them anywhere else. So that's one of your unique value propositions too, for sure. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Emily. I appreciate it. We've wanted to have you guys on for a while, so I'm so glad you're able to join us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Thank you.